Alright guys, welcome back. GM Light here, and today we're going to be talking about how I feel about that one scene from Five Nights at Freddy's. Spoilers ahead, but we actually got to see the Springlock failure scene from Five Nights at Freddy's 3. This is an incredibly iconic scene where, after beating Night 5 of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, a minigame basically appears where the ghosts of the missing children confront William Afton in the safe room. William panics, tries to hide in the Spring Bonnie suit. The room's really decayed and the rain's pouring from the ceiling. Rain hits the suit and triggers a Springlock failure, so all the mechanisms lock in on him and kill him. And what a Springlock failure basically is an event that occurs when the spring locks inside of Springlock's suit activate and spin inwards, allowing the animatronic parts, wiring, and metal crossbeams to move into their original place, which just so happens to be where the user of the suit is in. Anyone caught inside a Springlock failure would be instantly crushed until their body was unrecognizable. It's a pretty horrific little concept where they kind of split hairs between when someone gets out of the suit and when someone's in the suit. And Afton's Springlock failure is one of the most iconic, biggest scenes in the games. It's pretty much where he cements himself as an eternal presence threat to these games, and that's when he also transcends being a human being and becomes Springtrap. This was a scene that I was especially hoping would make it into the movie, and they definitely delivered on it. Even despite the PG-13 rating, I thought that they would kind of neuter it a little bit and that it wouldn't be that tough to watch because it's still PG-13. But they actually get a good little bit in there where it can be pretty intense. So you have the cupcake tear off a little bit of Afton's suit so that you could actually see his ribs, and then you start to actually see the Springlock mechanisms start to impale him on the inside. I kind of thought that maybe we would get his facial reaction or something when he's in the suit, and maybe we'd see a little bit of blood coming out of the bottom of the suit or something, which would have been a little bit lame, a little bit of a disappointment, but they actually went for it, and you get to see the locks kind of crush in and impale him. Pretty intense stuff, and I'm glad that they definitely included it, because they probably had to re-edit that a couple times to ensure that it kept that PG-13 rating. This is definitely some of the most important parts of the lore, and it's definitely setting the stage for what's going to happen. And see, Matthew Lillard as William Afton didn't get as much screen time as I was kind of hoping that he would get in this movie. It's pretty much kept to a minimum. It's kind of more of a mystery the whole time about who Afton is, what he is, what his deal is. You get him posing as this boss, this kind of like hiring maintenance guy in the beginning that is pretty much the one accepting the job applications, and then you get him at the end with his reveal of being Spring Bonnie. But with that, you also get his iconic line that he'll always be back. It didn't really make sense, but it's still cool like that they still thought to include that. I'm just a sucker for all these Easter eggs, references, the fact that they really did show that they were thinking of the fans first. That's what really mattered to them, and that they weren't gonna compromise on some of that stuff. I really appreciated it, at least, and I think that this is gonna take us into having Springtrap as the main antagonist and point of most of the sequels. I think that he's gonna be the overarching villain. He'll probably get more screen time. He'll probably be easier too because Matthew Lillard won't actually have to physically be there. Although I would love to see a prequel movie about his start as this killer. There's some good stuff in the timeline that they could tackle from there, from the games, that I hope that they adapt. But overall, I'm really glad that they included this scene in particular. It came out really good. I think that there's some mixed reactions to it, but I was very happy with it and very happy with the way that it came across. That's all I have to say for that. I'm GM Light. Have a good one.